Yo, what's going on, snipers, and welcome back to our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode here in MLB The Show 23. So in last episode, we had a solid draft, all things considered, because it was one of the weaker drafts that we've seen. We managed to take Jeff Pipp with our first overall selection, and we managed to get a pretty solid pick there with him. As you can see, he's a 68 at 18, and he also has 92 potential. So a very solid pick there. And then also Ken Robert turned out to be a solid pick too. He doesn't have a super high ceiling, but this draft class, when you guys look at it, like at least in last episode, there was a lot of misses in the draft, and Ken Roberts a definite hit, I would say, just because he has at least 80 potential. He's also a 67 at 18, which isn't too bad, so there is a chance that potential could get even better. Also, guys like Ray McMahon aren't terrible, I would say, compared to some of the players in this draft. He's more of a little bit of a project shortstop, but at least he doesn't have a super high ceiling, so he might be like a good kind of like bench player in a sense. And then Kellenberger's definitely our worst pick of the draft, but like if we briefly go through all these other teams, you can kind of see that this draft was one of the worst drafts we've had in a franchise mode so far. Last year's draft was definitely a lot better considering we got straight A's across the board, but you could see a lot of teams just had really rough drafts, so this was just not a good class at all. So hopefully next year's class is a little bit better so we could actually pick up some more good prospects in it throughout the later rounds. But anyways, before we get into simulating the rest of the season and getting through the entire offseason, I do have a couple comments to go over. So the first comment is from Nick Bucker Barons OC, and he says kind of mid-draft to be honest, but Pipp looks solid. Make sure to get interested players next time. Keep in mind when you do scout position and do international pitcher, it also increases all the pitchers scouts interest. So internationally usually has 30 plus pitchers, so you would be adding interest to those 30 plus players. So that's if we do like a general scout, I guess, but I don't know if I'll do that fully still. I mean, like I do like scouting out specific pitchers, but maybe we will have to do that at some stage, because obviously right now we're just trying to figure out like our key guys maybe, and then maybe define more kind of like bench kind of options, or like relief pitchers and stuff like that, or like third or fourth string pitchers. Then we could use those type of options, but for right now we want to find those kind of stud players as best as possible, I think, and get their interests as best as possible too, because in the last episode, we lost out on 3 of our prospects that we drafted, so hopefully we get some interest a little bit higher on a lot of guys in the next coming draft, because that way we can at least hopefully get almost all of them into our team, because if we're not getting everybody into our team, it's just going to take us longer and longer to build this team up into being a contender. And then the last 2 and final comments are from It's Dawn. The first one says, Pipp looks like he could play anywhere in the infield. Definitely better than Schneider. I'd move Schneider to first base or let Pipp play shortstop. We already have a second baseman already. And I told him we technically already have a shortstop as well, because technically we do have also on shortstop, we have, who was it, Pinheiro. So, yeah, technically we could move Schneider to first base. We could play Pipp at a different position. But, like, literally any of these guys could play all over the place almost in a sense, and we could just try and find out what best works for them. Also, It's Don says, just stay on it. If not, throw him to left field and he'll be fine. So he says even we could put him on left field and he would do well. So maybe Pipp will play in the outfield. Who knows where Pipp will play, but regardless, we will definitely figure that stuff out once the players get to the MLB level. Also, the last comment from It's Dawn says, try and adjust Schneider's training, maybe focus on vision and clutch. So that's what we're going to do to start this episode, is adjust his training, because he has been dipping and his play has been pretty bad so far at the AA level. So we want to definitely try and improve that for him. So he said vision and clutch. So this one will put him to hitting coach session, and hopefully that improves some of his stats a bit, because yeah, he was having a little bit of a rough time. I don't know if it's because he was injured once this season already, but hopefully we don't have any more of our prospects getting injured. We do have this contract thing. I guess I could dish out some of these contracts already. Yeah, I could probably just dish out a couple of these contracts already, to be honest. Oh, what the heck? I don't have the money or what? Oh, add a few more years. And we'll just leave this stuff for now, actually. I'll just figure that stuff out when we get to the off-season. But, yeah, let's begin simming to September call-ups. And we're not going to call up any of the guys I drafted, at least not yet. Though it's probably not till next season, because some of them will jump into our MLB team likely next season just because of the player options and all that type of thing. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how some of our top prospects finish up the years. So we definitely need to make sure that we don't sim past the end of the double and triple A season. Auto utilize. Geez, the amount of injuries that are happening is actually kind of outrageous. Like, is there a way to turn down injuries a little bit? Because I feel like there's too much. Then again, we have a massive roster between all of our leagues, so kind of makes sense, I guess. Let's get these last 2 games of the month done. We are now 25 and 110. We're having still our best season yet, I think, but not that it matters too much. Get rid of these notifications. I don't know why it keeps on popping up to the player search and the coaching stuff. Let's just go A maybe instead of X. Maybe that's why. Transactions, we gotta just get rid of this. Don't care about the transactions. So, how much days are left in the double and triple A season? Double A season's almost done. Triple A is almost done as well. So we definitely need to sim through to those dates. So let's actually go to the double A calendar because it ends first. We want to take a look at the double A player stats. Oh yeah, we need to call up 2 players, I guess. Okay. Let's go to roster moves. We'll call up 2 players from either double or triple. Let's go to 40-man roster. Let's go down to here, and we'll call up this Casilla guy. And we'll also call up a pitcher that we didn't draft, like this Edgar Rodriguez guy. There you go. Now we have enough players. Or at least we should. Let's see how AAA ends off their year. Or AA ends off their year, and then we'll take a look at the player stats that are in AA. Actually, let me stop the simulation for a second. We have 1 game left. Let's just sim through date. Okay, so AA season is done. The team did not make the playoffs, unfortunately, 23 and 46. But let's take a look at AA prospects right now and see how they did. So this was Dennis Lake's season. As a closer, pretty damn good, I'd say. 1 and 2. With a .72 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP, he's up to a 69 at 18. Yeah, he was really solid. Obviously, closers usually have really good stats, but yeah, he was really good. .9 WAR, so good stuff from Dennis Lake. Steve Schneider's season, I think, was a little bit of a downfall, but he is growing now, so he's up to a 67. So after dropping a little bit earlier in the year, he has gone back up. He had 12 home runs, 48 RBIs. A 638 OPS, still not the best stat, so he's probably likely still back in AA next year, I'd say. But yeah, he had a little bit of a rough time this year because of that batting war. Unfortunate for Schneider, but yeah, that's going to hold him back in AA for probably another year at least. Ollie Gelman at 254 batting average, not terrible as a 59. He is developing quite nicely, it looks like. He is getting a little bit slower, which is a little bit weird. Don't know if he's playing on weight or something. 675 OPS, not terrible. And a 1.5 WAR, yeah, pretty solid season for Ollie Gelman. He did technically better than Schneider, which is not what I was expecting, but okay. And Fletcher Hoffman, not bad either. 8 home runs, 36 RBIs, a 230 batting average. 609 OPS, not bad. A 0 WAR, so he's pretty mid in a sense, like pretty average, which is not bad. Bill O'Donnell batted a 250, not bad. Up to a 57. We'll also take a look at the league leaders, see if anybody's up there. Wow, he actually had a rough year based on the WAR. Yeah, that sucks for Bill. Oh well. Some of these guys are going to have rough first years, but it's okay. Pinheiro batting at 246, very much an RBI guy. Let's see how his first season was. Oh, minus 1.5 WAR. Looks like a lot of guys in AA actually kind of struggled. But it makes sense with the quality of the roster. Gary Steiner, another one of these prospects, almost a 700 OPS. That's good. Minus 0.3 WAR. So yeah, it looks like pretty much almost everybody that we drafted struggled in the AA level. Montero, how was his pitching? Yeah, I think they definitely struggled. He was 5 and 15 with a 4.79 ERA and a 1.62 WHIP. How was the WAR? 1.4. So it was actually better than expected, I guess. If they had FIP stats for like double and triple, I would be able to take a look at that. No, but yeah. So there's our prospects in AA. Let's get AAA finished. And actually, let's take a look at the league leaders first in AA briefly. Like, I know I'm spending a lot of time looking at our prospects, but, we'll more than likely make this episode a little bit longer, but we got to take a look at these prospects and make sure they're actually developing in the right way. So let me go to statistics here and player stats. No, not player stats, league leaders. There you go. Let's see, any of our guys up there. We're looking for the mid-hounds, or whatever the heck they're called. They're not the mid-hounds, I forget what they're called, but let's see, anybody up there. Just gotta look for our logo and see if we have anybody in these areas, which right now it does not look like it. Actually, wait, are we in the Eastern League? We might be in the Western League. I don't know. I think we're in the Eastern League, though. I don't know for sure. Let me actually take a look at that. Yeah, I think we must be in the... Actually, are we in the Texas League? Yeah, I think we're in the Texas League. I don't even remember exactly. Oh, yeah, we're definitely in the Texas League. So a lot of our guys were up there at bats. Pinheiro was actually tied for the league in doubles. And Gelman was up there, so that's good. We got some speedy guys. Gelman also had 7 triples. Yeah, we had some speedy outfielders, it looks like, which is a good sign. Anybody else up there? Based on balls, looks like Gelman, O'Donnell, and Pinheiro are drawing some good walks. That's a good sign. Nobody up there in OPS and stuff like that. Most losses, one pitcher's actually the least losses. That's somebody I didn't draft, though. ERA, was anybody up there? No. So yeah, that's basically the stats for AA. Let's get AAA finished, since AAA ends a week later. And we'll see what our guys did. They went 40 and 110. When you like to stop simming, yes, please. Thank you. Can I still see their stats? Hopefully I can. Because if not, that would be annoying. AAA, yeah, I can't still see their stats. So, wow, Giancarlo Sixto, 78 overall now at 18. Was he like that when we drafted him? I don't remember how high of an overall he was when we drafted him. I think he was lower than that. He's developing quite nicely. He had 16 home runs and 66 RBIs, batted at 306 in his first year in AAA, and 949 OPS. Yeah, he's definitely in the MLB next year. And he had a 6.2 WAR. Yeah, he's definitely too good to be in AAA. Cardenas batted at 295. He was also really good, 63 RBIs in 13 home runs, up to a 74. And let's see, 789 OPS is pretty good, 3.1 WAR. So the two of these guys definitely are probably bound for the MLB next year, I'd say. Garth Howe, 10 and 10 with a 3.79 ERA and a 1.26 WHIP. He's getting close. He's probably a few years out still, maybe like 1 year out. But yeah, he had a 2.5 WAR, so he was also pretty good. And I think those were the only prospects in triple, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, pretty good stats from our top 3 guys in triple. I like that. Let's take a look at the league leaders as well for triple. See if any of our guys are up there. Yep, Sixto was number 2 in batting average. Cardenas was number 4. Yeah, these guys are going to be up there in a lot of stats, more than likely. Cardenas was number 1 in hits. Sixto was 6. That's kind of funny. Sixto was first in doubles. Sixto was first in triples. Home run wise, nobody was up there, which is kind of a surprise. We got more contact hitters than power hitters, I guess. Cardenas was number 1 in runs. Stolen bases, nobody was up there. Drawing walks, Sixto was up there. Cardenas was up there as well. On base percentage, Sixto was number 2. Slugging percentage, Sixto was 1. OPS, Sixto was 1. Wins by a pitcher, Howe was not up there. Just kind of a surprise. ERA, Howe was just outside of the top 10, I think. Maybe not. No, he was all the way down here at 16. It's not bad. So yeah, basically our top 2 batting prospects in Cardenas and Sixto, they really killed it in AAA this year. So yeah, I'm very excited to see what they do at the MLB level. So let's get the rest of the season done and see how we finish off the year. We don't really care about any of our player stats in the MLB level, so not going to focus on that at all. Okay, so yeah, we finished 28 and 134, so we definitely have a long ways before we are actually still a competitive team, but that's okay. Okay, so now we need to get to simulating through these playoffs to see who ends up winning the World Series, and then we'll get the off-season done. Like I said, this might be a little bit of a long episode. I do apologize about that. So the Baltimore Orioles are going to win the World Series in 2025 as they beat the Philadelphia Phillies. Let me go through the awards just in case you guys want to see who wins awards and all that type of thing, like normally. So Dylan Beavers is the World Series MVP. And then we'll go through the MVP in the AL to start off with and all that. AL, anybody up there for us in awards? There was one guy that won an award last year, which was a big surprise. Yeah, it was Thomas Dillard for first baseman, but doubt we're going to have any awards in the MLB level here. Will Dalton was actually up there for us, which is not a surprise, I guess. I don't really pay attention to our roster at all at this point, so I don't even really know who's on our roster at all. So there's that. Yep, there's that. Let's go to the NL. Take a look at this. I wish there was like AA and AAA awards as well, though, because I bet you Cardenas and Howe and stuff like that, Sixto, they would win some awards. But we'll have to wait till they're actually in the MLB. Hopefully one of them wins like Rookie of the Year. Like more than likely, I feel like Sixto could be a Rookie of the Year candidate when he comes in. I don't know about Cardenas because Cardenas has definitely not got a super high ceiling. But yeah, I'm excited to see what he does once he gets here. Okay, that was the awards. Let's sim to the off season here. And our hitting coach decided to retire. So we are going to need to sign a new coach. And my contract with my manager ended as well. That's okay. Okay, retired players. We do lose a couple of guys to retirement. Bonin, Crook, Matsui, and Rivera. So we're going to have to find some more players to replace those guys. Okay, no inductees into the Hall of Fame this year. And we don't have any exclusive free agent signings. We do need to sign a hitting coach and a manager. So we'll just do that already. Try and find somebody with some okay stats. Let's go with this dude. That's a lot of money for a manager. Let's see if he will accept that though. He's not very interested apparently. And we also got to get a hitting coach. Yeah, hitting coach. Let's go to somebody down here more lower on the list. Like this dude. Get him up there a little bit to like $4 million. Yeah, he's going to be interested. Cool. Okay, let's sim to the first stage of free agency. We do get the hitting coach. And we are still waiting on the thing from the manager, I think. Okay, so we got some tendering contracts to do. And 40-man roster. Let's go to tendered contracts first. Giancarlo Sixto. 1 year at $90K. I could only give him a 1-year deal. So I'll just give him what he wants. Obviously, he will be likely in the MLB soon. And then, like, I need your guys' opinion on what we should be giving him contract-wise. Like, should we do a nice back-loaded contract, a front-loaded contract? But I need to know how, like, long we should be signing this guy for. Because I know he's definitely probably our best player in the series for the future. So, this guy probably... he doesn't want too much. Let's just get a lot of these guys back. We should be able to afford most of them. Let's actually start with our top prospects first, though. I mean, most of them aren't going to want too much anyways, but let's start with our prospects here. And then we'll get the rest of everybody else done. Fletcher Hoffman's a prospect I drafted. Bill O'Donnell. Wow, Bill O'Donnell's already wanting $780K. So he wants to be a AAA player, I guess, next year, but that's okay. I'm just going to give most of these guys exactly what they're asking for. I am very excited, though, for the future of this team, though. A lot of good prospects we've drafted in these first few years. Hopefully next year's draft is a fun one as well. And hopefully it's deeper than the last draft we just had. So, okay, the rest of these guys are players I didn't draft. So, okay, let's get the rest of these contracts sorted out here. Let's just give contracts to all of these guys so I don't have to run into problems later. Because more than likely I'll have the money to afford everybody here. I don't really care if I overpay on any of these guys, because, yeah, I'm just going to give them all 1-year deals consistently. Yeah, $750K, that's good for me. Some of you guys might actually be in the MLB still. And we're not going to add anybody to our 40-man roster unless we have to add some AI guys. So, because I'm not going to be adding any of our top prospects to our 40-man, I don't think, unless I might add Sixto, I guess, to our 40-man. I know some of you guys said to wait a few years, but he might be ready to take that step next year. I might leave the option open to start spring training. Like, I might not have him on our 40-man to start spring training, but if you guys think I should add him to our 40-man for next season, I could do that in the next episode. Because I think having him on our 40-man would be probably important, because I think he needs to have MLB time, considering he just had an insane season in AAA. I think he's ready to take that leap. So, and same with Cardenas. Cardenas is already on our 40-man roster because I made that mistake in year 1. But I think he's ready to probably play in our MLB lineup next year, especially with the amount of bad players that we have in our lineup normally. I think he deserves a shot, considering he had a really good year as well in triple. And yeah, he's been only getting better in terms of that type of thing. Yeah, we're just going to sign literally everybody for 1-year contracts until we could actually fill out our roster with mostly players that I've actually drafted myself. Let's go with that. Yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens with this team in the next few years. Obviously, like, we're not winning a lot of games right now, but we should be winning a good amount of games in the next few years. Like, I assume we're going to start winning games probably by, like, year 8 or so. So we're still definitely a couple years at least from having a lot of guys that we've drafted in our lineup. But at the same time, we're going to get to start seeing some of the guys actually in the lineup, like, as early as next season probably, and hopefully some of them have really, really solid first seasons. Like, I think Sixto, even though he's playing on a bad team, he should be able to maybe have a chance to win Rookie of the Year next year if he's in our MLB lineup. Cardenas probably will have a solid first season as well, more than likely, because he does have, I'm pretty sure, good contact hitting and stuff like that. Just sucks that his ceiling is not super high, because if it was higher than a C, then he would probably get a lot of good development and he could be a really stud player as well. But he's probably going to only cap out at below an 80 overall, more than likely, unless he decides to, like, randomly grow a lot. Okay, damn, there's so much contracts to dish out every year. I always complain about this part, but this is literally, like, the most tedious stuff about MLB franchise mode. Like, this is why I could honestly just literally have cut these off-season episodes completely out of the series if you guys want, but it would be kind of weird, considering I need to like, once we get to the point where we actually have to give out contracts to guys we drafted, it'll matter. But like right now, like, this is just like ridiculous signing 50 guys, but oh well, or 80 guys or whatever the heck it is. Okay, so there is finally all the contracts dished out, and that was only $18.5 million worth. We still have so much budget. Like, I can't wait till we sign, like, one of these guys like Sixto for a long-term contract. 40-man, how much players do we have on our 40-man right now? We have 35, 36. Yeah, that should be fine. I don't think I'm going to add Sixto yet, because I want your guys' opinion on that. Should I add Sixto to our 40-man roster? I'd say more than likely yes. Cardenas already is on the 40-man, and he will more than likely be in the MLB next year, just because I think if we send him down, we use our last option with him. So, and then Garth Howe is in the same type of boat. He might be really close to being in the MLB lineup. So there's that. Let's see what else we got. So, offer salary arbitration. Might as well offer some contracts on some of these guys. Not worth it really to take them to arbitration. So let's see if Glenn Hall will accept 1.3. Yeah, it's definitely not worth it to send some of these guys to arbitration when they're only asking for like $1 million for a year. We want to keep our roster pretty much the exact same. Bacon. That's a great last name. 900,000 for the Bacon, and in Bohonic, we'll go with 1 year on you as well, and give you like 1.1. We'll get you guys to all accept, hopefully, on that. And then we're pretty much good. So let's send to free agency 2. We should get all of our guys we offered contracts to, I'd say, more than likely. Oh, we did get the manager. I'm surprised. Probably no other teams offered him a contract. Yeah, let's stop the simulation for a second. See tendered contracts. Only one still holding out is this guy, but he has full interest, so more likely he'll accept soon. Let's sim to free agency 2 still. Sim to free agency 3. No. And we don't care about really the off-season stuff that's happening around the league. It's going to be interesting once we become competitive for some of the top players in the MLB are, if there is any still left. Because who knows, it might take us a really long time to make it. No, let's not stop simulating. We are getting closer to the Rule 5 draft, which I don't really know if we're going to take anything huge, but who knows, maybe we'll find something good. Okay, Rule 5 draft. The Reds are interested in offering us a trade. We do not make trades in this mode. And let's go to the Rule 5 draft. We have the first player in our first pick in the draft. Is there anybody worth taking? They recommend us this 31-year-old first baseman that's 76 overall. There's also a 27-year-old that's a 70 overall in Nico Cavadas. I really don't know what I really want to take with this team. Like, who's the youngest player in this Rule 5 draft? Like, this Rule 5 draft doesn't matter too much until we actually get a lot of generated guys in it. Like, everybody's a minimum age of 27 on this, it seems like. So a lot of these guys won't be competitive when our team is competitive. So it honestly doesn't matter too much what I take. I might as well just take the best overall player that aren't on waivers. Yeah, I might as well take, like, a pitcher or something like that. Like, we could honestly just take, yeah, I'll probably just take this Weems guy. 71 to 28. Let's just take him. Let's just take him. Because that way he could probably play in the MLB for us instead of Garth Howe. And we'll skip the rest of these selections because I don't want to make more than one pick in it. So, that is our only Rule 5 pickup this year. And he will be probably playing in our rotation, which will be pretty good. So there is that. Let's simulate to arbitration hearings. Not that we have any of them, I'm pretty sure. That's good. Renewable contracts, which is right before spring training. Damn, there's a one big sign I'll keep note of. Bo Bichette signs with the Rockies. Jeez. Okay, so there is that. Spring training. Let's simulate up to that. Would you like to stop simulating? No. Okay, so we're up at the start of spring training. Now we got to take a look at some cool stats and stuff like that. Let's take a look first at what we got on our 40-man. Yeah, we have 37 players on our 40-man. The question is, do we add Giancarlo Sixto to that 40-man and let him play in the MLB this year? Because he would be our best left fielder for sure. Cardenas... Yeah, Cardenas would have one more minor league option. We could send him down, but this would be his last chance down there in AAA, and then he'd have to be in the MLB. And then Garth Howell, probably I'd say back to AAA, just to play it safe. But, yeah, I'm really, really excited. Also, Steve Schneider would probably go back to AA because we know he struggled last year. So I will have to probably address that type of thing at the beginning of next episode, or I might do it before a next episode, but there's that. Let me show you guys quickly the top prospects in the MLB, and then I'll be it for this episode, I think. Garth Howe is now the best prospect in baseball. Apparently, Giancarlo Sixto is number 2, but we still have the best 2 prospects in baseball. So here's Garth Howe going into his 3rd season, more likely in the minors. And then he'll probably be in the MLB next season, I think. It's more likely my guess. And then Giancarlo Sixto, he probably should be in the MLB at this stage. He's all around a pretty solid player. And once he starts developing, he could easily be in the 80s at the end of this year. So I think we got to add him to our 40-man. But once again, I'll leave that up to you guys. And then our next best prospect, Ollie Gellman, has climbed up to number 5 on the prospect pool chart. Maybe it's because he has A potential, but... there you go, Ollie Gellman up there at number 5. We also have Dennis Lake at number 10. Not too bad. We also have Jeff Pipp making his debut on the list at number 12. There's our former first overall pick. He's going to be playing in AA for now, but he might get climbed up to AAA next season as well, just because he's got that good power hitting. Gary Steiner's up there at 13. Not too bad. It's definitely going to take him a while to develop, but it's still okay. Any other prospects? Pinero's at 27. There you go. He could actually play second and third base as well. That's good. I like guys that are a little bit more flexible in the lineup. And that's it for our prospects. Interesting. Let me actually go to the top of this list for a sec. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 prospects, I think I said. Like 6 prospects there. 7 prospects. Yeah, we have like 7 prospects in the top 50. So that's pretty good. Let me take also a look at some of the AI guys. Anybody that we could have drafted up there. Do recognize Koo, kind of. I don't remember when he went, though. Anybody else that I could have drafted? Kind of curious on that. Don't recognize a lot of these names. Oh, Kevin Towers, okay. Yeah, he was the first overall pick, wasn't he, 1 year? He's a 64 at 20, so oof. Hopefully the Pirates actually develop that guy decently. Diaz, I might have been able to draft at one stage. Don't remember for sure. I do remember Lewis Ward, though. We could have drafted him. I think it was last year's draft. Emil Olivio's up there as well. We could have drafted him, but obviously we didn't. He's at number 39. Anybody else? Norm Novak up there at number, 46. He's a 72 at 22. I don't know if I would like that. I do like his power hitting, but he's 22 and only a 72. He's still going to be a really solid MLB player, but he might be more of an MLB player when he's like 25. Maybe a little bit earlier than that, 23, 24. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of our Vancouver Rain Draft to Glory franchise mode. So in next episode, we will begin the season simulation. It might be with Sixto in our lineup and Cardenas in our lineup. And yeah, hopefully this team is going to be interesting. We're also going to start scouting out the next year's draft. And yeah, hopefully it's a better draft than it was last year so we can continue adding to our prospect pool. Send anything down below, and I'll see you guys next time.